Not only do we see the power of the Word of God in Genesis chapter 1, we see the order and the complexity coupled with the power of God in Genesis chapter 1. In verses 1 and 2, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And so the creation story begins with this declaration that God created things in the beginning. This was the beginning of time, the beginning of our history, the beginning of the existence of the material world that we know and in which we live. This was the beginning. God was before the beginning and brings all things into being, and that was our and the beginning point. And yet at that time, the text says that at the start, the earth was without form and void. Without form means it had no particular shape or arrangement. And void suggests the idea of empty. Well, God is going to order this world and this universe in order, and He's also going to fill it so that it is no longer empty. And so the first thing He does is speaks the light into existence. And the light then dispels the darkness and separates the night from the day. And then He begins to order the firmament or atmosphere above and below. And after that, He gathers the waters together into one place to make seas, and dry land appears. We see this order to the creation. That order then continues through all of the things that God creates as He designs this universe. But certainly it is complex at the same time. As He speaks the grasses and trees and flowers and fruit into existence, He determines that each would reproduce after its kind, in keeping with His will. And so it was that then the planets and the sun and the stars appear, and they find their place in the universe, and by them time can be measured, as God, the God of order, brings these things into existence and into place. Genesis chapter 1 just introduces us to the concept of creation in such simple, basic terms. But as we have lived through the centuries of time, we are beginning more and more to understand the complexity of the design of God in this world, and it is beyond our comprehension. And so God isn't God of order and design. And so as He makes, in verse 26, man in His own image, He says, "Let him have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle and all the earth." And so God creates man in His own image, and that humanity is to have dominion over the earth. There now is an order that is to be established by man in his being and in his existence. And He has given man every herb for food. And He has told man to be fruitful and multiply and to subdue the earth. There's an order to God's creation. We need to understand that our God expects things to be done in an orderly fashion. And that is a part of our moral existence as well as our physical existence. Let's not forget the order and the design of our great Creator, and understand that, of course, we are going to have to be people that lead orderly lives in keeping with His will, His intention, and His plan. Thank you for listening today. And remember, Don Bunting, you can study with me. More information at nycbibleteacher.com. Thanks.